What's up, everybody? It's Mikhail Casanova, aka, well, Mikhail Faltea, but Mikhail Casanova. I know it's been a while since I've done an episode of Decked Up. It's been some weeks, and I did say on the last episode I was going to make this more of a consistent show. And I kind of just want to address this before we dive into the topics of the rumored Lenovo Legion Go Lite and the upcoming ROG Ally X and all the INEO devices that are coming out. I just want to say that one of the reasons I haven't been putting out consistent episodes at this point is because I'm doing so many projects right now. It's a bit overwhelming. On top of the fact, I just got my tattoo finished, my chest piece done, and if you guys are curious as to like this is kind of more of what it looks like. Doing that, doing stuff with my family. I'm doing a lot of paid projects and doing some voice acting for a lot of projects that I'm on right now. So many tech products I'm reviewing, so many games I'm reviewing, consultation work. I'm doing a lot, and my availability is just shrinking, that window of availability. I've recorded a lot. I'm doing a really big push right now to get Casanova podcast back going. I've got like 7 or 8 episodes recorded. I just need to take time to edit them. And I enjoy the editing process, but I'm getting to a point with the amount of projects and things I'm working on. It's just becoming harder and harder for me to get that time to sit and do that, right? Especially when you got a 3-year-old. Anyone who's a parent, you know how 3-year-olds are. They want all your attention. So trying to find all the little issues and knickknacks and recordings can be challenging because I'm effectively working around my 3-year-old daughter's time schedule. So all that being said, though, definitely am of the mindset of looking into getting an editor, a video editor at some point when I can afford it. Right now, I'm just making enough to pay the bills, right? So all that being said, that's my short of why. That's also another thing too. Speaking of shorts and short form video, that is the current thing that is honestly keeping a lot of channels afloat. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably getting sick of, getting multiple short videos per day on YouTube or on other platforms I'm on. It pays the bills, so just keep that in mind, right? If I could just do regular content, I would. But trying to condense everything into a 60-second or less, sometimes more, is not very easy. So just understand that. But anyways, today I want to talk about the news that I've been able to keep up with. There's a lot that has been coming out. I haven't been able to be on top of everything, but all that being said, we do have confirmation, that there is going to be a Switch 2. I know the last podcast I did was actually before that PR press release came out from Nintendo that they were working on, or they were getting ready to release the Switch successor very soon. So I kind of dropped that before that became officially confirmed, but we all kind of knew that was going to happen. So we do have a Switch successor that will be coming out very soon. I'm going to say within the next year. I think they're going to run the Switch for another year before they transition over to the newer platform. So if not into this year, then Q1 of next year. So that's going to be coming out. I'm excited for that. I do think it does need to have more power. It needs to be able to run adequately a lot of the games that are, you can find on multi-platform games. So if this has, and Nintendo's going to do what Nintendo's going to do. But as I said in the previous podcast, I'll say it again here. I think Nintendo needs to focus on power a little bit, right? Not entirely. We have found that the difference between Switch Generation 1 to OLED is the capability of outputting to 4K that the launch one doesn't have. So they have plans for a 4K capable device, And I think the new generation successor to the Switch is going to have that. I just want it to have the capability of running games on the level of parity to like a Steam Deck OLED, or if they really want to push it, uh, an ROG Ally or MSI Claw. It needs to have that capability because Nintendo, as great as first party is great, right? They've been killing it this past generation with original titles for the Switch and a lot of ports from the Wii U, but it needs to have the capability of not having handicapped third party experiences. So if they can have it on the powered level, like I said, with Steam Deck OLED or ROG Ally, perfect. Battery life can stay as good as the current Switch OLED, perfect. But that's what I think they're going to need to do. And moving on from the Switch, because it's not enough to really just, go super in depth with it. This is just things I think that they need to do. But Nintendo, like I said, they're going to do what they want to do. So I also want to touch quickly on the MSI Claw. So I haven't got, I was supposed to get a review unit, never got sent one. Don't know what's happening. Communication lines, maybe it's restructuring. I don't know. But we've seen all the bad reviews that have come out for it. We've seen from users to professional outlets, everyone's been ragging on MSI Claw. I still have curiosity about the Claw. I still have an intention of going and picking one up, just to fiddle with it. Maybe not even to keep, because I feel like with the ROG Ally X, because essentially that does what the it's honestly, I mean, ROG Ally X is going to be a better version of the ROG Ally and the MSI Claw. Better battery life, better performance, more RAM. Just overall, it's a better device. But I feel like with all the updates, firmware updates, and everything that's come out for the MSI Claw, I do think it deserves a fair shake or a second look. And I don't see a lot of people, and this comes down to, and this is just me peeling back the curtain, this comes down to how people view tech within the tech creator community. It comes out, you want to be first or at the very beginning of it, you want to get it out and be done with it, right? You move on to the next thing. But a lot of things can come out with a lot of issues at launch. Steam Deck had a lot of issues at launch. So did the RG Ally. So did the Legion Go. All these devices have issues at launch, and they deserve a second look down the road. And so I would like to get one to check out how it operates now, because it has a lot of what I want. It has the Hall effect sticks. It's got the Hall effect triggers. It's got I believe it has VRR. If I'm incorrect, correct me down in the comment section down below. But it has a lot of things going for it, and from what I heard, some of the best cooling. So I would like to pick it up to try it out to see how that is. All that aside, I just think it deserves a second shot or a second look at it, just to be fair, and also to have some journalistic integrity, which is something that is just missing from content creating and journalism. Everything is sensationalized and just clickbaity at this point. So the other thing too, I want to touch on the RGLAX. So I did a video and podcast on that. I'm very excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I do have a connection with ROG, and just waiting to hear back if when that comes out, if I can get a review unit. If I can, cool. If not, I'm still going to buy it because I love my ROG Ally. I know I was one of the staunchest defenders of that device, and I had a lot of people attacking me, a lot of regulars that were coming for the jugular, and I still stand by. It's one of my favorite devices, and it's not a failed product. Now, I'm not excusing ASUS for not being as forthcoming about the micro SD card issues as they should have been, but I still think it's a great device nonetheless. So I'm excited for that too. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, as this is going to be a very, very short podcast episode. But meat and potatoes, which is the Lenovo Legion Go Slim, which is rumored to come out. And from what I understand, it's going to be a lighter version with as far as I know, it's going to weigh a lot less and potentially have a better D-pad. And I have a, you guys know I've worked with Lenovo. I have a working relationship with them. So I haven't had any official word from them as far as the Lenovo Legion Go goes, or the sequel or mid-gen refresh. But it will be addressing, from all the rumors and speculations going out there, it's going to be addressing the biggest issue a lot of people have with the Legion Go as it is. It's too big. It's too heavy. I personally don't find it too big or too heavy, but that's me. My only issue with the device is that it doesn't have a great D-pad. That's the one area where I think it needs to really be improved. And the area where I feel like whatever the successor is going to be, they're going to need to touch on that and touch on it very soon. So, hey, when we get more information, we can talk more about it. Last thing I kind of want to touch on, this is going back to what I said about devices not getting a fair shake when it comes to launch. And the main device that comes to mind for me with that is the Razer Edge tablet. Now, granted, Razer shot themselves in the foot by saying it's going to have 8 gigs of RAM, whether you get the Wi-Fi or cellular model. And then they quietly reneged on that, and it had 6 gigs of RAM for the Wi-Fi, 8 for the cellular version. I have the Wi-Fi model, which was provided to me by Razer for, as a payment for things that I've done before. I didn't review it, but it's a device that is my everyday go-to driver for, Android gaming. And when that came out, a lot of people were attacking it, and you saw a lot of clickbait too. But the attacks on it for the RAM, fine. Every right and reason to do that. The attacks on it for the stupid clickbait of it is a Steam Deck competitor or a Switch competitor was stupid. And I gotta call out the YouTubers. I'm not gonna say their names, but every YouTuber and outlet that did that was fucking stupid. It's an Android device. And the narrative that is just mind-boggling to me is the same people that will bash it were the same people pushing Ambernick devices, all these Iron Odin devices, all these other third-party, cheaper, in most cases, Android devices. They would shuck that. Why? Amazon affiliate links. Or they partner with the brand and they're getting paid for it. You'll typically see that trend when a YouTuber isn't paid for something, they'll shit on it very heavily. Or if it's something that threatens their money and their bread, they're gonna shit on it, right? It's an interesting thing. It's very interesting. But I think for something you can get from a fairly, to an extent, reputable company, for the pricing, yeah, Razer fucked up on the pricing. But I just thought it was weird how people just, the constant comparisons to the Switch and the Steam Deck and all these other things, when the better comparison should be compared to the Logitech G Cloud or to these other Android devices that you can get off of Amazon that are probably not going to have any support. I mean, granted, support for the Razer Edge isn't great either, because Razer, like most things, they kind of abandon, like most of these tech companies, just abandon these products. But for a device, if you're playing Android games or you're doing emulation, it is solid. There's like no issues with it. And it's just wild to me that, the narrative that was taken with it was just taken to the extent that it was. I never understood it personally. And it's a device that I still use now. I know people say, oh, don't get it, get the Iron Odin and all these other devices. Granted, cool. But the Logitech G, as trash as that was, and people like, why buy this? Who would want a streaming or an Android device that can do streaming or play Android games? Like, presenting a narrative like nobody does that when mobile gaming is one of the top selling gaming fields in the world, and outside of the West, or specifically America and Europe, in the, in the East and Asian countries, it's the preferred way to game. It's mind-boggling how the narrative is made that nobody does that. Nobody plays these games. I don't know. I find so many issues when it comes to, and this is where I kind of struggle with like making content and reviewing things, because I want it to be as based and fair as possible and realistic. I'm not trying to, like, how people are like, oh, why buy a Switch? Buy a Steam Deck. Or why buy this game on any other platform? Just get it on the Switch. Every time there's a generation that comes up, like a new device comes out, there's a generation of people that pull that bullshit. I don't particularly care for it. Give something a fair shake, criticize it when it deserves it, and give that feedback to the makers of that device or game or product. But don't compare it to something that's not equivalent to it. The Razer Edge, as a multimedia consuming device, I know people are like, oh, the bezel. I don't give a fuck about bezels. Maybe I'm weird for being that way, but I don't care about bezels, right? It's got a great screen, very loud speakers, comfortable, long-lasting battery. I play my Android games. Although people are like, oh, you can just play it on your Pixel. Yeah, I got a Pixel. I got a Pixel 7 Pro. I don't care to game on that. That's for work. That's my work phone. My iPhone is my personal phone. Yes, I am a dual phone user. But my Razer Edge emulation and native Android gaming, I mean, I don't really do streaming like Steam or PlayStation or Xbox, but I can do it on there. And I think it's fine. And I think this idea that we have, well, not we, because I'm not part of this, but idea that a lot of people have that mobile gaming isn't a thing, or it's stupid, or it's not real gaming, it needs to go away. That's as dumb as people who still say that Smash isn't a fighting game. And I can talk shit about that because I was one of the fucking idiots that said Smash wasn't a fighting game when it is. So I don't know. I think things just need to have a fair shake, um, and be criticized accurately instead of just for clickbaits. And I feel like since 2020, since the pandemic, a lot of people now just shoot for clickbait because it's easy, it's low hanging fruit. It doesn't take anything for them to do it. So just give things a fair shake. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Decked Up. We'll have probably a more substantial episode next week. And yeah, this is more unfiltered, uncouth, me just speaking freely. I don't have anything. I don't have a script. I don't have any footage. I'm just talking, and these are just my honest, raw thoughts. So all that being said, if you enjoy this episode of the podcast, please support it on your favorite podcasting outlet, or if you want it in video format, Spotify, which is a sponsor of the show, or here on YouTube as well. Like the video, share it around, like the podcast, share it around, comment. And all that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I said that already. I'm going to say it again. So, peace out and hui.